The situation in Ukraine over the last several weeks has certainly been tense, but there are now clear signs that we could be seeing the beginning of a process where the hope of peace is perhaps lasting. This comes on a day in which the government of India has issued an advisory to Indian nationals in the Ukraine. Joining us now, Dr. Igor Polika. He is the Ukrainian ambassador to New Delhi, somebody who's an old hand, as I understand it, in India. He's been ambassador over here on 2 separate occasions. He joins us now. Thanks very much, sir, for being with us. Are you hopeful now, with the first reports of Russia moving back some of its forces, that we could see the beginning of peace in the boundaries of your country?
Yes, we are hopeful. Maybe we are cautiously hopeful, but nevertheless we are hopeful.
Right.
Situation at present is difficult, but it's not critical.
Right.
For 8 years, from some very well, so-called very well informed forces, we are getting the new dates of invasion.
Right. It's supposed to be what, today, tomorrow?
Yes, it never happened.
Right.
I am really hopeful that this date again will be 10th or 15th fake.
Right.
I am telling, situation difficult,
Yeah.
but it's not terribly critical. We highly appreciate the balanced position of the Indian government, of your embassy in Kyiv, of the Indian MEA, who has not fallen prey to some warmongering, some panicky moods.
Right.
I'm happy that, unlike many other embassies, your embassy in Kyiv is working
Yeah.
in normal regime.
Right.
I understand the position of the Indian government.
Yeah.
You are paying
Yeah.
too much attention
Right.
to the security of your citizens.
Yes.
We are proud that India is on the first place among other countries from the point of view of the amount of Indian students.
How many students are there?
Approximately, I think, a bit more than 20,000.
And so what is your message, Ambassador, to their family, to their parents who might actually be watching this?
My first message, of course, you should closely monitor situation, because situation is difficult. But you should not believe to all the panicky reports.
Right.
We are open
Yeah.
for communication with Indian channels, with Indian journalists. I think that approximately up to 5 newspapers, channels are making their reports on the spot.
Right.
Your most respectable channel, NDTV, आपका स्वागतम Ukraine में है. You are most welcome.
Right.
I would like you to go to see with your own eyes what's going on in Ukraine.
Right.
You should talk to Indian citizens, to Indian students, especially in the bordering areas. You should talk to the people on the streets.
Right.
You should talk to some politologists, to governmental officials, to make your own picture.
Yeah.
I deeply respect the high professional level of your channel, and I am more than sure that your reports will be highly qualified
Right.
and very much objective.
But Ambassador, let's talk a little bit about the international diplomatic efforts which are taking place now. We are looking at the German Chancellor who was in Kiev yesterday. There will be a meeting in Moscow as well
Today,
we've seen the French President speak with President Putin in the past. We have seen other European leaders reach out to your leadership and indeed with the leadership of Russia. So therefore, would it be fair to say that diplomacy is still center as far as the situation in Ukraine is concerned?
you see, as diplomat, I should say diplomacy should prevail, and I think it will prevail. We are having now very hectic diplomatic activity. Every day in Ukraine we are hosting 2-3 heads of states, heads of governments, ministers of foreign affairs. We can see hectic activity on this diplomatic activity on the other side of border. You just mentioned about Federal Chancellor Scholz, who visited Ukraine yesterday and who is holding negotiations in Moscow today. Moreover, as far as I know, the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Poland, as the current chairman of the organization of European of ESC, he's as the chairman, he's planning to visit Russia also today. That's why I am most hopeful that diplomatic activity and diplomatic efforts will prevail.
Sure. Ambassador, one last question. One of the key demands of Russia is that NATO and Ukraine's partnership with NATO or membership in NATO in the future shouldn't be allowed. Is that a negotiating position which Kiev might embrace?
You see, first of all, EU and NATO membership, it's fixed officially in the Ukrainian constitution. As being a government serviceman, as ambassador, you understand that the main law for me, for every ambassador,
Is your constitution.
it's our constitution. It's written in our constitution. Ukraine is ready, together with Western partners, on a wide dialogue with Russia. Of course, as far as I understand, this dialogue will be a long process. I don't know what kind of compromises may happen, but as you mentioned about NATO and EU, it's written in our constitution.
Right.
And one more very simple message to the Indian media community. You know that our embassy, we are absolutely open for cooperation. We are trying to be most helpful in arranging your trips. We are relying heavily upon professionalism of Indian journalists.
Right.
But nevertheless, please, we are expecting that trips of Indian channels, of Indian newspapers to Ukraine will be devoted to the deep analysis, what's going on, what will happen, what may not happen, on the basis of your massive communication with various people.
Right.
I am asking your channels, certain channels, please stop war-mongering and please stop pursuing cheap sensations.
Right.
For example, I read reports in Hindi
Right.
that the war started,
Yeah.
8 people are killed. You see, it's a real surprise. For me, it's a real surprise.
Sure.
Ukraine doesn't know that
Yeah.
war started. Russia doesn't know that the war started.
Yeah.
Our Western partners do not know that the war started. But one Indian channel knows.
Right.
Our main task is objective information
Right.
and to calm down the panicky moods.
All right. I think,
Because panic, it's the major danger.
right. Right. Absolutely, Ambassador. And I think that's a good way to end this discussion. We don't want any panic whatsoever, and we certainly hope that there is peace. Ambassador, thank you very much for speaking to us. Thank you very much indeed.